Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. This is The Talk. I'm so excited to be with two of my great friends here. We're going to start from the left. Ma'am, what is your name?
Martha.
All right. And ma'am, what is your name?
My name is Cassandra Castillo.
All right, great. All right, awesome. Well, guys, I'm so excited to be back. Just another week that we're able to share and just, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think so far about the podcast? I mean, I think it's so important that we're able to share with people and kind of show people like, yo, like, this is what we're about. You guys are both. Well, first of all, let's start with Martha. Martha, how long have you been saved?
Okay, so I actually have been going to church my whole life.
Wow. I did not know that.
Like, I grew up in church.
In this church?
Not in this church.
Oh, but in the church.
I grew up in the church. And then I started coming here when I was 13. No. Yeah, it was 13 because I remember I couldn't go to VCJ because I wasn't 12. And so now I'm 25.
Wow. So it's been 12 years
Don't
here.
tell me to do the math.
Okay, all right, no
good.
problem. All right. Ma'am, Cassandra, talk to me. How long have you been saved? How long have you been saying, Jesus, you are my father?
I went to my Exodus when I was 11 years old because I was mature for my age.
Okay.
So I accepted God when I was 11, and it's been the best thing ever. I can't go back.
How old now?
I am 25 years old.
Wow, guys, we are pretty old up in this. But anyways, guys, I'm excited to share with you guys, excited to talk to you guys about so many things because both of you guys have a very interesting story. For those people that don't know, they're going to find out. In the wise words of Biggie, if you don't know, now you know. You guys don't know who Biggie is.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I know who
fine.
Biggie is.
I do.
So talk to me, Marty. All right, so you've been growing up in church basically your whole life. Obviously, I know that it has not all been perfect, has not all been, how do you say it? Talk to me something perfect. Novela type, right? Novela?
No, novelas are dramatic
Oh,
stuff.
that's true, yeah. We're not trying to be dramatic.
No.
Talk to me. Disney. It
hasn't
hasn't been a
been-
Disney story. Disney story?
No, Disney kind of tragic.
Oh.
Okay, but like,
Okay,
no,
it
for
hasn't
real.
been perfect.
It hasn't been like
perfect.
rainbows and
Okay,
butterflies.
rainbows and
Okay,
butterflies.
rainbows
So
and butterflies.
talk to me a little bit about your life. Talk to me about where you come from, like your family, where you kind of come from, and where
Okay.
you're at now, kind of who you
Okay.
are.
Okay,
Kind of want to get to know you.
Okay, so wait, like nationality? Like, are we talking about like
Yeah,
where
we
I
can
come
talk
from?
nationality all you want.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, I guess I grew up in Florida, but my parents are both from El Salvador, so people like to say I'm a white girl.
Okay.
Flex.
Yeah, I definitely think that.
But yeah, so pretty much grew up, raised in Florida, and then I haven't left Florida, obviously. And I am the youngest of like 3.
Okay.
And yeah.
So
Do you want me to get into like life story?
The youngest of 3. Okay.
The youngest of 3. I have an older sister, older brother, and then my mom passed away when I was going to be 21.
Okay.
So when I was 20. And my dad, he lives with me now, so yeah.
Dope. Okay, so what do you do now? Talk to me.
So
Outside
now,
of the church, what do you do now?
So now, so I went to school, I graduated. Now I work at, I don't know if I'm going to say when I work. But,
yeah. Okay, you were.
work in, and I kind of do like media stuff, like social media.
That's dope.
So yeah, it's pretty much what I do. That was kind of what I went to school for. I went to school for communications.
You went to school for communications.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. So, Cass, talk to me a little bit where you're from and where you're at now.
Well, I was born in the 305,
Yeah. Right.
Miami, Florida, and I'm
Okay.
still here. I'm half Colombian, half Nicaragüense,
Okay.
and a little bit of Dominican.
A little bit of Dominican.
Let's see. I have a little brother. I am the oldest. I was an only child for a while. Thought I would be an only child, but, you know, my brother was born.
Yeah, surprises. Okay.
And what else? I am married to the love of my life since I was 12 years old.
Hey, Amari, let's cue in like little hearts or something in that part, all right? Okay, so talk to me. What do you do now?
I work for the police department.
Okay.
Non-emergency as a dispatcher.
Okay.
So, you know.
Is it like that Halle Berry movie? You know what I'm talking about?
No, not that intense.
The Halle Berry,
Yeah,
I think it was
that movie
intense.
You never
Very
saw it?
intense. I saw it, yes.
Yes.
It's
You
not
guys
that
know the name?
intense.
Okay, well, she said where she works, so I work for the fire department.
Okay, all right. Cool.
I think it's called 911.
No,
The
it's
Halle Berry
called,
movie?
Yeah.
The Call.
The
It's called The
call.
Call.
Okay,
The Call,
Shout out
never
to Rick,
mind.
she's in the audience.
But they dial 911 for
Yes.
the call.
Okay, so just to get into a little bit, guys, I kind of want to. I want to talk to people out in the audience that are listening to us today, kind of like you guys are both in your 20s, right? And you guys are both saved. So it's very different whenever you think of 20-year-olds in their mid-20s to be saved and to be, to believe in God and to be these people that are out in the world but yet are not like everybody else. It's kind of like a different dynamic nowadays, especially with social media. You kind of see how our generation is going. It's not normal to believe in God and be in your mid-20s. Like, this is like the stage that we're supposed to be walling out, right? And my dog Cassandra's married, I'm married, and Marty is not married, she's single. Shout out, hey guys, you already know what it is. Let's go ahead and put her little Instagram down there, Marty. You already know how it goes. But I'm talking about that, the reason why I say that, I think it's such a perfect dynamic today, right? Because I kind of wanted to touch a little bit about that. Our generation, whenever you're in your 20s or whenever you're growing up, like, one of the biggest things is like, am I gonna have a boyfriend? Am I gonna have a girlfriend? Am I gonna be in a relationship? And I think that a lot of people, especially people that maybe don't have faith, they kind of get stressed out about that. You get me? I mean, me at 16 years old, when I got saved, I was just like, well, I'm saved. Everybody at my age already is having like boyfriend, girlfriend, is going crazy out there. I know people that were 18 already having kids. Like, it was crazy. I mean, I'm 27 and I still don't have kids. So it's kind of like, it's kind of bad to compare yourself to other people. Right, but especially when you're saved, there's even more of a layer of things, because it's like, okay, so I shouldn't be doing this, and on top of that, I know better. So talk to me, Marty. I want to start with you, kind of like, because obviously you're around, you don't work like at a church, like you work at a firefighter department. I'm sure like when you go to Starbucks, I'm sure when you go out, you get hollered at. So you're just kind of like at the position
Hollered
that hollered at. Wait, is there another way to say it?
I don't know.
No? Hollered at?
Spitting game at?
All right, spitting game at? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about where you're at as in your relationship status, because we all know obviously that at this age right now, like you're working on yourself, like you're building, even when we're married. Like, Cass is married, working on herself. I'm married, I'm working on myself. But talk to me a little bit more about your position and how you view relationships, how you view the gift it is to be single and being able to invest in yourself.
Okay. Okay, so I think it actually is a gift to be single. Like, I think being single in that phase in your life is so important, because like, I think that's like the perfect phase for you to figure out like who you are, your purpose, like for you to like have self-awareness, like just basically figure yourself out. I think that there's so many people, especially in church, like I think it's easier to be single and not know God than to be single and be in church, because when you're in church, I want to hear this. Okay. Like when you're out like in the world and you're not saved or whatever and you're single, like I think people are okay with it because it's normal, like But when you're in church, like there's such a pressure to like you have to be in a relationship. Like I cannot tell you like how many times I get asked, "Oh, why are you still single?" Or "Where's your boyfriend?" Or "When are you gonna have a boyfriend?" Or like, and then they give you like a timeline to your life, right? Like, well, you have to get in a relationship, but you're not getting younger. Like you need to have kids. Like you don't want to have like kids when you're old or blah blah blah. And I think there's just like such a like, I don't know, it's just so much pressure to be single and be in church, because people just think that, like, okay, obviously when you're in a relationship, like there's temptation and like people usually don't date for long. It's like a random person thing. So when you're in church, there's just that pressure, and people always ask you, and then like when you tell them like you're single, they like I don't know, they just have so many questions, and it's just like, bro, just leave me alone. But I think it's important. Like, I think people who are single, like they shouldn't rush to go into a relationship, because a lot of those times, like especially like the younger people, like the younger girls and the younger boys who are like literally like they haven't even hit puberty yet, and they're like, I need a boyfriend. True. Because true. Because it's cool, or,
and because of the pressure too.
And because of the pressure, and then also like, people don't talk about it, but being single is also hard, because like you have like temptation, and you have lust, and you have all of these things, and people never talk about those things. But it's true, like it's not easy to be single, but I think it's just a choice. And I also think that you shouldn't get into a relationship with someone just because you're lonely. Like that is the worst reason to get into a relationship.
We have somebody in the audience clapping right now.
And I think that people girls and guys, because it's not just girls. Like people are like, oh my god, girls too, but that's a guy thing too. Like you get lonely, and then you say, oh, I'm lonely, so I'm gonna find someone to like hang out with, or I'm gonna find someone to go out with because I feel this way.
That's so dangerous.
And then
man.
it's so bad because like you go into a relationship because you're trying to fill like this void, and then that relationship fails, right? And then you mess your like. Then you have like. I can't think of the word, but then you have like repercussions from getting into that relationship because you're real lonely. And then like it's just bad.
And that's so important to say nowadays. Yes, in the church is important, but just overall in general, it's so important to kind of get that focus of like, okay, why am I getting into a relationship? Am I getting into a relationship because I truly am in love? Am I getting into a relationship because I really am like this person's cool? Like I really want to get to know this person. Which there's nothing bad with dating. I mean, kind of. I think that nowadays dating and being in a relationship kind of goes hand in hand, but. Not really, because you kind of get to know people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're saying, you get in that position, you're just like, I need a boyfriend, I need a girlfriend, which is crazy. Actually, the way that you feel kind of about that is kind of how I feel, and I'm sure Cassandra can relate because she's a girl. I mean, I'm a guy, I can't really get as affected as my wife. But bro, once you're married, it's already when you're having kids. When are you having kids? So talk to me. Like, so how many kids do you want? It's like, bro, I just got married like last week. Like, take it easy. Like, but I understand where you're coming from, and kind of just to kind of piggyback off that, Cassandra, for those that don't know, Cassandra, I want you to share a little bit about this. Cassandra actually was in a relationship. Actually, I'm not even going to talk about it. Cassandra, talk to me about your relationship with now your husband, because I know that it wasn't a normal relationship. I know that for a fact. Talk to me. You got to get close to the mic. Talk to me.
Well, what do you want from the beginning?
From the beginning, yes.
Okay, well, my husband today, we met at church when we were 12 years old.
Okay.
And, I thought the brother wasn't good looking at first.
No, it's cool.
You know what I mean?
All good. The globe hits. Hits. Yeah.
And he never gave up on me, We would serve at church, and he never gave up on me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a chance. Then we became really good friends. And through that, like, we grew to know each other. We waited on God the whole time. And we were high school sweethearts. And then once we graduated, ball drop, he was moving to North Dakota. And that was the hardest goodbye ever because his dad got a job over there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And North Dakota is far.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really knows about North Dakota. It's under Canada.
I don't really know.
If y'all want to check the map, you know.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it.
So we were in a long distance for 4 years.
You hold up. You were in a long distance relationship for 4 years.
Yes.
Because there might be somebody watching us right now that's in a long distance relationship and probably doesn't think that it's possible. You're married now, so we know that it's possible.
It's possible.
So talk to me a little bit about the struggles of that. Talk to me about being in a relationship, being saved, obviously being in a long distance relationship and still doing things the right way. I mean, it's bad enough the brother is long distance. Now, on top of that, you got to take care of yourself and your relationship and obviously your relationship with God. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, it was the hardest thing ever. It was not easy, but as long as you have God in your heart and you have faith and you believe, you're good. We saw each other every 6 months.
Okay. So twice a year.
Yeah,
twice
a year.
For those that don't know.
Yeah,
twice a year.
Twice a year. And it was really hard. It wasn't easy at all because long distance definitely tests your trust, your communication, everything. And my mom told me something that I really believed in, and it was that if he's for you, it's going to be meant to be. You guys got it. And yeah, definitely, like, was there temptation? There wasn't temptation. But when a guy kind of smiled at you, it was kind of like, oh, that's a little nice.
Marty's over here getting red, bro. But but I like what you were saying because it kind of shows like the human side of things, right?
Yeah.
Because like what Marty was saying earlier too, like we're going through these struggles, but we don't really talk about it. Like these are not things, and this is the thing that I love about this podcast because it's like, yes, it's people at our church, it's leaders at our church. You get me, that have been serving God for the longest time, but go through real situations, and it's like, okay, we might look like we got it together when we walk into church, but when we walk outside of church, we back in the battle zone. You get me?
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that kind of people get to see that outlook, you know, single and in a relationship, in a long distance relationship, because I can imagine how many people can be in a long distance relationship and they don't have hope. You get what I'm saying? Like, how do I do it? Like, how is it that I'm able to still have that relationship? And then people that are in their mid-20s saying, oh my God, all my friends are in a relationship. Like, what do I do? Like, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing that I'm single? And you're saying, nah, invest. Like, invest in yourself. Get to know yourself better. So now that we're kind of in that topic, I kind of wanted to talk about, now that we're talking about relationships, we're talking about being single, I also wanted to talk about a little bit about relationships with friends, right? Because I think that friends are one of the biggest tools that God gives you in order for you to keep pushing. Because imagine if, for an example, you're in a long distance relationship, you're married, you know, you're currently single now, and it's like, what would happen? What would life be without friends? Like, for an example, for me, being married, I even need friends even more being married, because you're around your spouse for so long that you're just like, do I even have my own identity? And it's not in a bad way. It's kind of like, you know, I want days sometimes with my friends. I kind of still want to have that friendship. I don't want to lose that friendship, because we do know of people that get married or get in a relationship that there's no more friends. It's just that person. And it ends up being a toxic friendship or a relationship, right? So talk to me about, Marty, I'll start with you. Talk to me about how important friendships are in your life, especially in the stage that you're at right now.
Friendship is very important. I think I've always had, I'm very selective, like me, for myself. I'm very selective on the people that I let, like, close to me. My circle of my, like, close, like, people I talk to weekly is very, very, very small. And I think some people have a lot of friends, and it's like me, people have small friends. But I think it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And I know, like, I have a small group of friends, but those friends have stuck with me. And okay, so hold on. So before the friends that I have now, well, me and Cassandra have been friends for, like, I don't know, like more than a decade. Like, it's been a long time. And Richard too. But mostly Cassandra.
You're looking at Richard like, the camera doesn't know he's in the audience right now.
I felt bad because I just left him there. But whatever. 2 for 1. Okay, so I had friends prior to this, and we had the same group of friends, and those people have turned out to be bad friends. Like, those people left me in my worst time, and they turned their back, which is when my mom passed away. Like, those friends were nowhere to be found. And then during that transition, and then after is when, like, I got like real friends. Like, I figured out, well, these people are, like, real friends, and, like,
kind of filtered it out.
Yeah, like, really filtered it out. Like, one of them is Andrea. Like, actually, funny story, you guys don't know if you guys know Andrea, but Andrea, we had hung out a few times, like, before my mom passed away. We went to, like, the gym, and, like, it was just, like, silly, like, it was just like regular acquaintances. We weren't really friends.
Yeah.
After my mom passed away, we got really close, and then, Cassandra, and then Stephanie, and then Janessa. So those are, like, my main group of friends. But in this period of I guess, like, I don't know, singleness and just in general in life, you need, like, good friends that are going to lift you up when you're down, or someone that you can just text. Like, sometimes we have, like, moments where we're like, oh my God,
mushy moments.
Yeah, mushy moments. But I think everyone needs that, regardless if you're single or if you're not single. Like, everyone needs those group of friends. And it's important to have them. And it's important to, like, choose, like, good friends. Because I feel like also, like, if you have, like, I don't know, if you have, like, a bad image of yourself, or you just going through things, I think you tend to just choose bad relationships in general. Not just romantic relationships, but bad friends. And then
that's a gem. Amadi, let's make sure we drop some gems right there.
And then you just accept, like, bad friends, like, friends that put you down, that make you feel bad. Versus, like, when you feel good about, like, yourself. I think everything has to do with confidence and, like, the way you view yourself.
Confidence is key.
Then you choose good friends, and you don't settle for people who are, like, bad, or people who put you down. And that goes for romantic relationships.
Yo, you're spitting facts right now. You're spitting facts. I like that. I like when Marty gets serious, because usually Marty's kind of, like, shy or, like, quiet.
Yeah, she's very wise.
Yeah, she's very wise, yes. So, Cass, talk to me about your friends. Talk to me about kind of the friendships that you surround yourself around. And I'm sure that friendships were very important whenever you were going through each phase in your life.
Yes, my friends have been there for me. I love all of my friends. I believe that it's so cliche to say, oh, your friends need to be there in the good and in the bad. But I believe that not only your friends need to be in the bad, but also in the good. Because, when you feel blessed, your friends need to be there with you. And I do believe in girl time and in guy time. I do believe that it's good for us girls to have moments and guys to have moments, because sometimes, especially when you're married to your best friend, but sometimes I need to talk girl stuff. And, guys need to talk guy stuff,
That's
correct?
true, though. Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we might be watching people some people might be watching right now that are married, that just maybe recently got married, and they're just like, they're probably feeling like, how do I tell my spouse that I kind of want to hang out
A little
with my
space.
friends?
A little space.
Yeah, a little space.
Yeah.
It's not unhealthy.
It's not.
A little space,
It's not. It's good to miss each other.
Yeah.
I really, really believe
know.
that. It's good to miss each other. Yes, definitely. But I believe that we also need friends to be able to vent.
Yeah.
I heard something the other day, and it says that when you have something inside of you, it's so big, but when you let it go, it gets smaller. And what we go through things, and sometimes I need to vent to Martha, and I need to vent, to my big brother Lex too.
Hey, sometimes we be having them talk.
We do, man. We do.
It has to happen.
For sure.
But yes, the reason why I bring that up, because as we're talking about all this, I think that this is something that our generation, I don't even want to say just the church, our generation goes through, because we kind of don't have like this, like I always say to the people that I kind of talk to all the time, I have conversations with, I'm kind of telling them, like, bro, you do understand that we were born in this world with like no manual. Like, we're just like trying to take it one day at a time.
Figure it out.
You get me? And yes, faith helps. Yes, the word of God helps. But there's kind of some things that you're going to have to realize throughout time that you're going to just be like, man, I should have not made that decision. You get me? And the reason why I thought it was so important to sit down with you guys is because, first of all, both of you ladies are ladies that are respected, and of course an example. You get me? And the reason why I like talking to people like that is because you're able to say, listen, the reason I am who I am today is because of the things that you went that I've gone through, right? Okay, so we're talking about friends, we talked a little bit about relationships. Now, one thing that I think is gonna hit home a little bit, right? So I know Martha might get a little bit a little bit emotional, but it's all good. Emotional is a little bit good, right? We talked about friends. We talked about, spouses or boyfriend and girlfriends. But I also want to talk about our relationship with our parents, right? Now, I think a lot of times once we're older, people tend to hang out more with their friends than their actual parents. Like, there's people that don't value their parents at all. Like, you're a teenager, you're like, yeah, mom, whatever, I want to hang out with my friends. Like, I don't know why I put like this white boy voice on. But it's kind of like, I'm so serious. Like, man, once you start growing up, it's like you forget about your family, like your parents, because your friends are so much more appealing. Like, you like to hang out more. You don't even like to spend time at home. Like before, I remember when I was younger, when I was like really, really young, it used to be like a thing that every Sunday I used to watch movies with my parents on the couch, like in, my boxers, like legit. That was my family. Okay, I started getting older. I got a car, and I was just like, peace. Like, parents, I'm out. You get me? And now that I'm married and I don't live with my parents, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I miss my parents sometimes, man. And it was kind of like, man, I kind of didn't value them as much, you get me, when I was with them, because I was so caught up in the hype of friends, and I was so caught up in the hype of my boyfriend or my girlfriend. And there might be some people watching today that are just like, man, it's true, I've been spending too much time with my boyfriend or my girlfriend that I've forgotten to spend time with my own parents, you get me? So Marty, talk to me a little bit about that. I know that earlier you kind of touched a little bit about your mom, kind of like before you were 21, and I know it's kind of like a touchy subject, but I believe that whenever God does something in your life, you can use it for good to kind of affect people and testify to people. Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with your parents, and of course that you live with your dad, so you kind of already have a bond with him.
Okay, so my relationship with my mom was difficult. Like, we did not get along. Like, we would fight all the time over stupid things, but it was just personality. Like, I have, and like Cassandra and my friends can testify, I have a strong character, and I'm stubborn. Like, I don't bend. Like, when I set my mind to something, like, that's it. No one's gonna convince me otherwise. So with my mom, we didn't see eye to eye to everything, and she would always be like, "You're just like your dad," and I would be like, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Whatever." Anyway, so she passed away, and so after the fact, it took me a while to recognize, like, I guess when you get older, actually, when you get older and you start having to take care of yourself, then you realize the sacrifices that your parents made to take care of you, because like it's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, kids don't know this, especially like maybe like our generation, like the 90s kids, like maybe we have a little bit more perspective, but I feel like the newer generations, like they're just handed everything. Like we still struggled a little bit in the 90s. No offense to anyone who's listening and they're not. Like I'm not trying to like, you know, like
bring
bash
down,
you guys. But it's true. Like we still had like some, like we had the dial-up internet. Like we still had like different things.
That
we had.
AOL, that running
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
But I feel like with technology and like just and like there's so many, like you just have to be careful not to offend anyone, you know. Kids now have it so easy, and I feel like they kind of take things for granted. So I think parents are important, and obviously when they're not here, you learn to value them more. So basically my relationship with my mom wasn't good, and then after I realized, oh crap, you know, well, that was too late, but you know, I should have valued her more. And it turns out that one day I was arguing, this was after my mom passed away. I kind of had some sort of resentment towards my dad, because growing up, my parents were married, but so growing up, I never had like a good example of like a good relationship. Like like my parents' relationship was bad. Like I remember I would literally tell my mom, like, why are you still married to this man? But at the same time, my dad did the best that he knew how. Like I feel like you can only do the best that you're taught. So he did the best that he knew how. His parents were kind of, I don't know, whatever. So one day I remember it was after my mom passed away, me and my dad were having an argument, and in that moment, like it kind of hit me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like my dad, which is the worst way to find out when you're having an argument with that person, because the things that we were saying were like the same thing, and it was like an epiphany. I'm like, oh crap, I am just like my dad. But okay, so I think that people tend to look at like the bad things in their life and hate it. But I look at the bad things in my life and the things that happened, like my mom passing away, and this is going to sound bad, like my mom passing away and my parents not having a good relationship, and growing up with like a difficult childhood. My dad drank a lot when I was a kid. So just seeing that, and this is going to sound bad, but I'm thankful for the bad stuff.
Oh, okay.
I'm thankful for the good stuff, but I'm also thankful for the bad stuff, because it made me the person that I am now. It strengthened me, and it taught me a lot, just
That's
in
awesome.
general. And so I feel like people, like I said, they go through bad things, and they're like, man, like my life sucks. Like, you know, if things could be so different, and like my life would have been better if this happened. And it's just like, you just have to learn how to be thankful for the good and the bad.
And that's awesome, because the way that you kind of turned it, you kind of like flipped it. Like there's people probably listening right now that are like, man, I can relate so much to her. I mean, I didn't realize till like a couple of years back that not everybody grew up with both of their parents, which is crazy. I thought that was like normal, but it's not. But it's awesome that you were able to say, I'm even thankful for the bad because I was able to learn from it, right? I think that's awesome, right? I mean, dang, everything you just said was on point. Like I can't really say much, but it's awesome. You got me? It's awesome to see it from a different perspective, because it kind of makes you a better person. And then we have Cassandra, right? Like Cassandra, your relationship with your mom and your relationship with your dad. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I know that your mom's a prayer warrior. Shout out to Angie. Angie, if you're watching, you're the best.
Well, me and my mom, my parents got divorced when I was 2, and I grew up with an alcoholic father, and it was me and my mom. And that's why me and my mom to this day were so close. Like, I love her to death. But it was really hard growing up with my dad being an alcoholic. It was the typical, like, weekdays with my mom, weekends with my dad. And it was very hard growing up seeing my dad, you know, drink every weekend. And I think one thing is prayer is power. And I broke that because my dad's side, it's very generational for them to drink. They drink heavy. And I broke that with me, and I declared over my life that in my generation and goes on, my children, you know, my great-grandchildren, like, they're not going to be alcoholics. And I think it was very hard growing up like that, because I always felt like I would see my friends, I would have their mom and dads, and I would be very sad because I would be like, why couldn't God do that with me? And it was very hard.
That's real, man.
Yeah,
so
it's very real. Yeah, and I think I was a typical girl that I would, go to my room and I would pray I want my mom and dad to get back together. Or do something for my parents to get back together. And I think that was the hardest thing for me growing up, just wanting my dad to be there more than, what I wanted. But the best thing was that God blessed me with my second dad that I adore. And that's been there for me more than what I could imagine, that I adore, that I love. But I do believe that after you grow up and get married and pay bills, how much you appreciate your parents and say, wow, thank you for paying for me.
Thank you for the full fridge.
Yes. Thank you for the free food, the free roof, the free water, so.
Free clothes.
Yeah, you definitely appreciate your parents. I do tell them all the time, thank you. Because after you grow up and become an adult, that when I was young, I always wanted to be an adult. Now it's like, I wish time went a little slower.
Yes.
But you're right. You hit it right in the nail. You do appreciate your parents much more when you're older. So you guys that are young and still living with your parents, appreciate them.
Yes.
And appreciate it.
Yeah, I look at my parents to this day. I'm like, yo, you're a real one.
For real.
But ladies, okay, so we're about to end. I know that it hasn't felt, but it's been already an hour. So I know that you guys probably haven't noticed it, right? But I kind of want to leave with this, right? I always ask my guests, and I'm glad that we're able to touch every single topic. Like, we executed it, man. But a lot of people nowadays, they live life kind of like, I clock into work, I clock out of work, I pay bills, clock into work, clock out of work, I pay bills. They don't really have a purpose in life. Like, I work Monday through Friday, and then I get to enjoy Saturday and Sunday. Then I'm back to Monday and Friday, Saturday. So kind of their life is only Saturday and Sunday if they don't work on the weekends. Yeah. And shout out to those people that work on the weekends. You the real ones, because I don't know. That's tough. But anyways, so back to what I was saying. A lot of people don't have purpose in life. All they do is work and pay bills. But I believe that if we're going to live life, we're going to live life with a purpose, so we can leave a legacy. So real quick before we end, I kind of want to ask, and I'll start with you, Martha. The last days, you're old, you're great grandmother. What legacy do you want to leave? What do you want people to remember you as?
That's a tough question. I haven't thought about that. I don't know. I guess I want. I don't know. Honestly, that's a tough question. I don't know. I guess I just want people to feel, or I want to. Make sure that the people around me, like my family, my friends, that they all felt like loved. And I guess my legacy, that's like a hard
It's tough.
question.
It's tough, but
that's like a hard question.
Hey,
Thinks about these
it's tough, but it wakes you up in the morning saying, "I'm going to reach this goal."
I don't know. I guess I just want to be the person who, I don't know, like, obviously, reach people, teach people about like Christianity, because my faith has been a huge part of my life, and it has my faith has gotten me through some very, very tough times. So obviously, like let people know that having a relationship with God is actually like a really cool thing.
Wow.
And also just be nice. I think people are so mean to each other nowadays, and I think that people should just be nice.
Okay, so that having faith, living life with faith is cool, and just to be kind and nice to people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's straight to the point. Is exactly how Martha's going to be known. Cass, real quick, talk to me. Your legacy, what you want to leave in this earth?
Yeah, it's a very hard question. I just want people to know, just be happy. Just understand that everything happens for a reason. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just know that God is bigger than your problem.
Snap.
And everything's going to be okay at the end of the day. Just keep running the race, y'all. Keep running the race called life.
I like that. So happiness, and remember that everything happens for a reason. I love it. Ladies, I want to thank you guys once again for coming to the talk. You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
You guys were awesome. All right.
Thank you
So before we go, because Amari's about to kill me right now. Before we go, all right, real quick, Martha, we're going to start with you. What do you have going on? Talk to the people. What is your social media?
I just changed my social media. My social media is my name with like an underscore. So Martha Leyva _ And right now I'm just, working, and I'm actually at the crossroads on whether or not I'm going to go back to school. So that's it.
Keep her in prayer, y'all. Keep her in prayer. Cass, talk to me. What you got going on? I know you got a lot going on. Look at that camera right there. Let them know.
Well, my Instagram is Cassandra Castillo _ and me and my husband got a YouTube channel called Rich and Cassie. So check it out.
Spell it out for them. Spell it out for them, please, on YouTube.
RICHANDKASSIE.
All right, guys, and this has been The Talk. We're out of here. Ladies, make some noise real quick.
Yeah.
Woo! All right, guys, this has been The Talk. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. We out of here.
Bye.
You don't want to go.